I'm about to show you a perfect example of how they're telling you that buying a home is the worst investment possible and you should not do it. And then I'm going to show you a video on why they don't want you to buy. Watch, and then I'll talk after this video.
A house is a terrible investment because you have to buy the house, because you got to lock into a 30-year loan, because you have to pay property taxes for 30 years that you have no control over. You have to put insurance on a house. The local government will make more money on that house. They make 2% a year in Florida, regardless of what you make. Do you understand that real estate brokers will make 12%, whether you make money or not? Bank of America and Wells Fargo have gotten rich in the trillions of dollars because you went and leveraged or mortgaged yourself basically to the masters of the universe. Put all those together. The interest, the property taxes, and the insurance. You have to make like 300% on the sale of your house to break even before you even pay a realtor.
First of all, if I got paid 12% commission to sell my house, I'd retire early. I think that was very exaggerated. We only get paid 2 to 3%, but I digress. Okay. So you made it very clear. Do not buy real estate. You do realize he became wealthy being a landlord, having renters. Okay? So now watch this video and I will talk about it.
The biggest real estate opportunity in my lifetime is going to happen right now in the next 24 months. This rental property thing is going to explode in this country because people will not trust banks. We have the American consumer has more credit card debt than they've ever had in the last 25 years at the highest rates. Some of these rates are 28%, freaking insane. We have the highest college debt we've ever had at $1.7 trillion or something. Used car valuations going down, inventories in car dealerships going down, and we have delinquencies on cars starting to slow down. The mortgage applications that you mentioned, 28-year lows. Rents are starting to flatten out. Now, my portfolio will flatten out and maybe come down. They're going to come down for 24. They're going to come down probably for 25. And then in 26, 27, and 28, they will
say, not as I do. By having you not buy houses and having you rent, it makes their properties as landlords more valuable. More demand. Rents go up. This is what's going on. They rather keep your equity that you build when you buy down your debt than you keep it. That's all that's going on here. Because if I buy a rental property, I still have insurance costs. I still have property tax costs. I still potentially have to pay a buyer or agent or listing agent for it. I still have the repairs. Everything he said about why it's a bad investment for you to buy is no different if I buy a property to rent. But there is one difference. In my situation of being a landlord, you're paying my debt. You're paying for my insurance, my repair costs, my property taxes, my mortgage. You're paying for it. I'm making money off you. You're creating equity for me. If you bought your own home, you would pay down your own debt and you would create equity for yourself. In 30 years, 20 years, that house is going to be worth twice as much. So do you want that? Or do you want to give it to them out of convenience? Because apparently it's a bad investment. If it was such a bad investment, then why is he buying? Because he understands that if he offers you convenience and tells you it's a bad investment, you're going to rent. And rent benefits the landlord, not the tenant. And don't get me started on interest rates. I understand interest rates are higher. 6 or 6.5. What's the interest rate on a rental? 100%, because you get none of it back. So ask yourself, do I want to pay my own debt down and create my own equity and create the opportunity for me to have a rental in the future that I can make monthly cash flow off of? Or do I want to pay down theirs? Or let me give you a better example. If I buy a house for $500,000 today, and my mortgage is $3,000 a month, right? $36,000 a year. In 25 years, we'll say 30 to make it simple. In 30 years, that house is easily going to be worth $1 million. Easily. But now the debt is paid off. So I owe it. If I sell it, I own it. If I sell it, I can get $1 million in equity. If I want to rent it, rents will probably be $4,000 a month in 30 years. Easily. So now I'm getting cash flow. Or do I want to spend $2,000 a month in rent, $24,000 a year? What's that in 30 years? $700,000. So in 30 years, I've thrown $700,000 away, paid down their debt, created their equity. And what do I have to show for it? Convenience? Real estate is a major component of creating wealth. If you don't believe me, look at your parents, look at your grandparents. That has not changed. The only thing that changed is they want to create that wealth for themselves. They don't want you to have the equity. They want to get the equity. They want you to pay their debt. Don't fall for it. It is more difficult and it is more expensive. Absolutely, to buy a home. Less people can afford. Even more of a reason to buy. Do not fall for the negative message.